Christianity, as we know it, hinges on the belief in one life, one death, and one chance at salvation. However, this wasn't always the case. The early church entertained a diversity of beliefs, some quite different from the doctrines solidified over time. One such belief met with resistance and eventual suppression is the concept of reincarnation. This idea, far from being foreign to Christianity, found fertile ground within its early mystical and philosophical discussions. Early Christians grappled with questions about the soul's fate after death and the meaning of human existence. Reincarnation, the belief that the soul undergoes multiple cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, offered a compelling framework to address these questions. This belief resonated with ancient wisdom traditions and philosophical schools, influencing early Christian thought. Figures like Origen of Alexandria, a prominent theologian, wove reincarnation into their understanding of the Christian message. The existence of reincarnation within early Christian circles challenges the common perception of a monolithic and unchanging faith. It speaks to a time when the boundaries of Christian thought were more fluid, incorporating diverse philosophical and spiritual influences. Understanding this context is crucial to grasping the evolution of Christian doctrine and the eventual suppression of reincarnation. The idea of multiple lifetimes offered a different perspective on sin, salvation, and the very nature of God's justice. It suggested a more gradual process of spiritual development where individuals learn from their mistakes and strive for perfection across multiple lives. This understanding, while popular in some early Christian communities, eventually clashed with the emerging power structures within the church. Origen of Alexandria, a highly influential theologian of the 3rd century, stands as a pivotal figure in understanding the role of reincarnation in early Christianity. Origen didn't merely accept reincarnation, he wove it into a sophisticated theological framework that sought to reconcile Christian teachings with Greek philosophy, particularly Platonism. Central to Origen's teachings was the belief in the pre-existence of souls. He argued that before being embodied in the material world, souls existed in a spiritual realm. These souls, through their own volition, became entrapped in the material world, forgetting their divine origin. Reincarnation, according to Origen, represented a merciful process orchestrated by God. It provided souls with repeated opportunities to purify themselves, learn from their mistakes, and ultimately achieve spiritual perfection, rejoining God in the heavenly realm. Origen's views on reincarnation aligned with Gnostic traditions, which emphasized direct mystical knowledge or gnosis as the path to salvation. Gnostics viewed the material world as flawed and sought liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Reincarnation in this context served as a stepping stone towards spiritual enlightenment. While Origen's teachings enjoyed significant influence, they also sparked controversy. His ideas, considered too radical by some, challenged the developing orthodoxy of the Church. Origen's emphasis on individual spiritual evolution and the pre-existence of souls clashed with the emerging emphasis on church authority and a single life to achieve salvation. The suppression of reincarnation within Christianity cannot be divorced from the political realities of the time. While theological debates raged, the Roman Empire, grappling with internal strife and external threats, underwent a significant transformation. Constantine's adoption of Christianity as the state religion in the 4th century AD irrevocably intertwined the fate of the Church with the empire. Empress Theodora, wife of Emperor Justinian I, played a pivotal role in shaping religious doctrine during the 6th century. Known for her political acumen and ruthlessness, Theodora's motivations for condemning Origen's teachings, including reincarnation, remain a subject of historical debate. Some scholars argue that Theodora, haunted by her scandalous past, feared the concept of karmic retribution inherent in reincarnation. This fear, coupled with her desire to solidify her and her husband's power, led her to influence Justinian to convene the Second Council of Constantinople in 553 AD. This council, orchestrated to consolidate power and quell theological disputes, ultimately condemned Origen's teachings as heresy. By rejecting reincarnation, the Church shifted its focus to a single earthly life as the sole determinant of an individual's eternal fate. This move had profound implications, bolstering the Church's authority in matters of salvation and solidifying its control over the populace. The condemnation of Origen had a chilling effect on open theological discourse within Christianity. The concept of reincarnation, once a subject of vibrant debate, was relegated to the fringes, kept alive primarily by mystical groups deemed heretical by the church hierarchy. Despite its official condemnation, the concept of reincarnation didn't completely vanish from the Christian landscape. Echoes of this ancient belief continued to reverberate through apocryphal texts and even within the canonized Bible itself. Gnostic Christian texts, often viewed as heretical by the Church, preserved and expanded upon reincarnation themes. The Gospel of Thomas, a collection of sayings attributed to Jesus, hints at past life identities and the cyclical nature of existence. Similarly, the Pistis Sophia, another Gnostic text, describes reincarnation as a purifying process, allowing souls to progress through different levels of spiritual understanding. These texts provide a glimpse into alternative Christian traditions that embraced reincarnation as integral to their worldview. Intriguingly, even within the canonical Bible, which underwent meticulous editing and selection, verses allude to the possibility of reincarnation or cyclical existence. Matthew 11:14, for instance, describes John the Baptist as Elijah returned to earth. Similarly, in John 9:1-2, Jesus' disciples inquire about a man blind from birth, asking whether his condition resulted from his own sin or that of his parents, suggesting a pre-existing state. While open to interpretation, these biblical passages demonstrate that the idea of reincarnation wasn't entirely foreign to the early Christians who compiled the scriptures. The persistence of these verses, despite the Church's official stance against reincarnation, underscores the complex and multifaceted nature of early Christian thought.